It's Tuesday, March 7 today. The topic of our Sabbath school lesson is Begin with Personal Needs. In Old Testament times, many of the children of Israel were farmers and shepherds. Thus, some of God's promised blessings were couched in farm language. For example, in Proverbs chapter 3 verses 9 and 10, God says that if we are financially faithful with Him, our barns will be filled with plenty. It is likely that many Christians don't have a barn today. So, we understand that God will bless our work or business if we are willing to follow and obey Him. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase, so shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. Proverbs 3 9 and 10. To answer the upcoming question, we are asked to read Proverbs chapter 27 verse 23 to verse 27. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goats' milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. How would you interpret the phrase, be diligent to know the state of your flocks, for Christians living today? However, much of the Bible warns against the rich trampling on the poor, or being greedy with their wealth. Scripture never condemns wealth or people's efforts to acquire wealth, providing of course they don't do it dishonestly, or through oppressing others. In fact, the texts for today in Proverbs indicate that we should be diligent in our financial affairs, in order that we may have enough for ourselves and our family. You shall have enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your maidservants. Proverbs 27:27. How would we rephrase that verse for today? Maybe we would suggest, review your financial records and determine the state of your affairs. Or, do a balance sheet and understand your debt-to-equity ratio. From time to time during your earning years, it would be appropriate to review your will or other documents and your present assets and update them as necessary. Documents such as wills and trusts are put in place early in the estate planning process in order to be a protection against untimely death, or of not being able for health reasons to decide about where your assets should go. The idea is to plan ahead for what will happen to your possessions once they are no longer yours. In short, good stewardship of what God has blessed us with doesn't deal only with what we have while alive, but also with what happens after we are gone, because, unless the Lord returns in our lifetime, we will one day be gone while our material possessions, whether a little or a lot, will remain behind. Hence, it is up to us now to make provisions so that what we have been blessed with can be a blessing to others, and for the furtherance of God's work. For riches are not forever. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 24 says, For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? As we conclude today's lesson, why is it important to keep this thought before us? May God bless you abundantly.